Hello guys, and welcome to episode 40 of Anything Goes with
Sania and Leah.
And all of the sausage dogs.
We've got all the sausage dogs reunited together again.
So these guys are going to be a common occurrence because we are on their sofa.
We are. Which also doubles up as their bed.
So if you love sausage dogs, make sure you carry on watching on, and there's going to be defo features of every one of them.
Oh, hello.
They are really cute, aren't they? How are things going with you though? Let's do a little catch up.
Yeah, all good. What's been going on? Oh, I feel like I've been away on my Iceland trip.
Yeah, for
which
Will's
was really
birthday.
fun. Yeah, so that was a nice weekend away. That was good. Saw the Northern Lights.
Wow,
which was amazing.
I bet you that was incredible.
Yeah, I can't remember if I told you about that or
You didn't
not.
tell me that, no, because
Oh,
I
it was so
didn't
good.
realise Iceland had the Northern Lights, weren't they? I'm a bit thick.
It was amazing. We basically drove out in the middle of the night. Not in the middle of the night, it was like 10 o'clock. You have to go somewhere where there's like no lights from the city, so you have to go
Have
out.
to go out.
Yeah, so
yeah.
there's no light pollution. And then we got out and it was minus 13 at this point. It
Oh.
was freezing.
Really?
Yeah, so we had to like get out the car and then look up at the sky a bit and then get back in to warm up and then get out again. And we were there for about 2 hours. And
What,
in
just
the end,
watching?
Yeah, we didn't see anything. And in the end we were like, oh, let's just go back. Drove back and then we saw them on the way back.
So wait, hold on, tell me. Northern Lights, they just light up whenever they want?
They're there all the time, but you can only see them. It's based on like if there's a moon or not, and like if there's the right amount of sunlight or something. Someone can probably correct me on this, but they're there all the time, but the conditions have to be right, and there has to be no clouds as well. So the conditions have to be right to be able to see them. So it's really difficult to actually see them there.
I've seen people in like hot water steam things and watching them. Do you know what I mean? Am I right? You know where it's like.
Yeah, they have like there's hot water springs in Iceland as well.
Yeah. And like I've seen photos on Instagram where like they're looking at the Northern Lights from where they are there.
That's cool.
I don't know if you have to pay for that, but I thought that was quite cool.
Yeah.
That's what I visualised.
Yeah. So we were just in the middle of this. It was just like we just parked up on the side of a road basically.
Did you get any recommendations of where to go? Or did you just
We
think...
just, so we asked a few people and they were like, as long as you go somewhere where it's dark, like you're absolutely fine. Yeah, so we just drove out and watched those, so that was really nice. So yeah, that was really fun, just a little weekend away.
But minus 13.
It was so cold.
I remember when Reese and I were in Canada and we went to Niagara Falls at around evening time, and it was January at this time, so it's freezing in Canada at that time, and it was snowing when we were there. And like obviously because it's like you have like the American side and you have the Canadian side. We obviously went to the Canadian side because we're like go Canada. Like even though we've been to New York, we still prefer Canada.
Yeah.
Like we just love the place. So we were just like we saw the American one. We were like cool, whatever.
Yeah.
Then we walked towards the Canadian one.
Yeah.
And this one is literally like you're here and the waterfall's there. So like there's obviously like a barrier, but you can literally like see the waterfall like from right next to you. And obviously with how powerful the water is, a lot of like water particles come out everywhere. Yeah. And with how cold it is, walking to the waterfall, your coat, we were wearing a black coat, all the water droplets would freeze as soon as they came on your jacket. So we were like walking icemen.
With icy eyebrows.
Honestly, it was so cold, so wet and so icy. Like you had to and then as soon as you walked away from it wasn't as cold anymore. So the ice just melted off of you.
Oh God. I'm not good in cold weather though. It's not for me.
No, it's not for me. Like I thought about moving to Canada for a year with Reese. And just that whole winter time is just not for me. No. Like I think I would be seriously espresso depresso. I'm already
espresso depresso. I might start using that today. I am espresso depresso.
Today I'm espresso depresso. I already am in the UK.
It is miserable here.
Do you know what I mean? Like honestly, like I actually get really frustrated just in life when it's cloudy and raining.
Like today.
Today's okay because there's still some sort of sunlight, but it's not like it's bright. Do you know what I mean? It's still relatively bright and it's not raining. But when it's like the double whammy, I'm like, fuck it, this is the worst day of my life.
It is hard.
Like I just get so infuriated because I'm like, but then as soon as it's sunny, I'm like, what a great day, I'm going to be so productive.
Yeah, it does make a difference though, doesn't it?
Yeah, for me it does. I know some people are like...
Some people it doesn't bother, but for me I'm like, it does affect how I feel, like if the weather's like if I go and walk the dogs and it's sunny, I'm like, oh, life is great, I'm so positive.
Yeah.
And then it's raining and I'm like, this is the worst day ever.
Literally. And this is why I get like a lot of my clients as well to just continuously take vitamin D.
Yeah,
I'm like, we all have such a deficiency in that because we actually don't get enough sunlight.
Yeah, and most people sit in an office all day working and don't even get the daylight exposure.
Exactly. And that's what can actually give you depression. That's why they call it
vitamin sunlight. You were going to say that, were you?
No, it was there's a type of depression that's based off.
Oh, that sad thing. Is that what you're on about?
About weather.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's
Seasonal
called.
affective disorder.
You actually like, but that's because you have like people say like vitamin D is like a happy pill.
Yeah.
And that's because like you do. And why do you think everyone abroad is so happy and everyone in the UK like is so miserable? Do you know what I mean? Because we don't even get a little bit of sunlight throughout the whole year. We might have like 3 days where it's like, and everyone goes to the beach. Yeah. And everyone's in their gardens.
Apparently it's going to be nice this weekend.
Well, better be. I'm sick and tired of you.
I know.
But anyway.
Do
you know what is exciting?
What?
Season starts. What were you going to say?
I was going to say all the Easter chocolates in the shops.
You know what? Yeah, that. You know what I'm not happy about though?
What?
Is how expensive they are.
I know.
I spent £12.50 on a Malteser Easter egg.
Right.
That's just a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
Has a little bit of crunch in the Easter egg and an Easter bunny.
That is a lot, isn't it?
£12.50.
Did you buy that for yourself?
No, I bought it for Reese.
Oh, that's cute.
I keep reminding him he needs to buy me one as well. But no, I love Easter. I've been dieting for the last 2 Easters. Yeah. And I've literally said to myself, Easter egg, I don't know about you, but Easter eggs just hit different.
Yes, I completely agree. And also, Easter egg, just the variety of the Easter chocolate. Yeah. Like, there's so much good Easter chocolate.
I'm picking out before the 31st of March.
My mum used to buy me this little Easter like gift box thing. Rather than buying an egg, she used to do like a gift bag and it had loads of Easter chocolate in. So it would have like some cream eggs and some like Malteser bunnies and just like all the different...
So you have like variety.
Yeah.
I think that is better, especially for someone like me who's a bit of like someone who loves just chocolate. Whether Reese, he'll look at the Easter egg and he'll go, oh, I'm so excited to eat this. And then I'll end up eating it. So, like, I feel like, I'm really excited for Easter. Like, I can't wait. And I feel like if anyone, unless you're dieting, just enjoy an Easter egg. Like, I know I'm gonna get sick and tired. Unless you're dieting. But, like, like, the week before Easter, I can guarantee you, we are going to literally see reel after reel. I bet you've made one.
I haven't actually.
A reel.
Not yet.
But like, when people like,
how to enjoy your Easter chocolate.
Like even Christmas as well. Like, I think it's really good to put it out there.
Yeah.
But also like, at the end of the day, just eat a fucking Easter egg. Like, it's really not the end of the world. Like, I feel like things like events and stuff, people do just overthink. And reality, as long as you're not an idiot, as long as you don't scram like 100 Easter eggs, or even like 4 big Easter eggs, that's a lot of chocolate. Yeah. As long as you're not, like, I always say to like everyone, just everything in moderation, man.
Yeah, well, it's the same with anything, isn't it? It's like one Easter egg is not going to kill you,
Well, it might.
Oh, well, yeah. But, yeah, I agree with that. I think, obviously, unless you're on prep or you're on a diet and realistically you need to be a bit more savvy with it.
Yeah.
But even then, if you want a bit of an Easter egg, like, you could probably track in a bit of an Easter egg and still enjoy it if you're on a diet.
Sure. Like an Easter, like 10 grams of a bit of chocolate isn't like 600 calories.
No.
It's literally like 30.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, there are ways that you can also input it into your diet. But I also just think, just don't come in, like, I feel like it's just really difficult for some people who overthink it too much and then think they have something off plan.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, at the end of the day, if you're actually wanting to maintain or sustain, like, the position you're in, like, you are gonna have to, like, move things around and, like, make a balance and stuff like that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's really not the end of the world.
Yeah, and I do think that's really common though with a lot of females. They have this whole mindset around on plan, off plan, and then as soon as they have something that they deem as like an off plan thing, they then get into a mindset where it's like, oh my god, that is the worst thing ever, that's it, may as well just sack everything off.
Yeah.
Where it's like, actually, it's
or
not,
overly restrict.
It's not that in itself that's caused the issue, it's how you then respond to that.
Yeah, and I feel like that's down to A, social media, but also B, coaches who are a little, like, I feel like it's also like, if you choose a coach who's very much like bodybuilder orientated, you know, like, they are very much like 100% or nothing kind of person, they are obviously going to say to you probably that's not a good thing. Yeah. But if you are someone who wants to remain and have a little bit more balance, choose a coach that will advise upon that.
Yes.
But also, like, I also think it is down to social media and also certain coaches who have such a large following, who push and push and push, being 100%, being 100%, being 100%. When in reality, like, there's 1% population who are probably bodybuilding, and then there's like 0.02% of that 1% of the world population who actually want to stay 100% optimal.
Yeah, and I think also it's so important, like, as a coach, like, obviously I'm a bodybuilder in an off season, but not all of my clients are bodybuilders or want to be, you know, want to go that way. So it's like, it's so important as a coach to, like, actually, what does your client need versus putting your own, like, thoughts and ideals onto the client, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Also, I also find, like, you have to listen to the client. If they've said to you, this is the life I live, you are gonna have to help me work around it. This is what I want, and this is like something that I had a struggle with like help that I've had previously, is I've mentioned that I'm very balanced and I will eat off plan and I will change my training a little bit to match my where I am, who I'm training with, and that just got met with difference because my goal was I want to potentially become a pro bodybuilder at the time. Yeah. So it was very much like, yes, I want to become this, but also remember, I'm also willing to take time. Yeah. So so it's like, I feel like even though you are 100, doesn't mean that your clients want to be 100. So just listen, and I feel like that just goes for everyone. Is like, listen to your client, and if you feel as though you don't want to coach someone like that, then say, bye-bye, this is who I recommend. Yeah, 100%. Swallow your tongue and just move on. That client's clearly not for you, and you're going to probably not want to coach them. Yeah, because they're not doing things in the way that you would want them to be doing it as a coach. Exactly. But yeah, tangent. Well, that was a really big old tangent, wasn't it? That was great fun. But what I was going to say, not Easter eggs, you know what Leah's always thinking about, but I'm the same, don't worry. I'm coming home to, like, I think 15 cookie boxes. All I see, I was literally having this I can't remember who I was talking to about it the other day. Oh, I showed Will. You know when you were saying you hate shopping? Yeah. And then you were like, oh, but I'm okay if there's a cookie. I was like, look, Will, like, Reese always buys Sania cookies. Reese, honestly, he loves to watch me eat them. Like, not in a weird fetish way, by the way. Like, that's not what we do. Not like, oh yeah, wow, you know what you do in your spare time? That would be so weird. You know, like, getting turned on by me eating a cookie. Like, I'm scranning that cookie in the most unattractive way possible. I'm like sat on the bed with my belly hanging out, eating it, just face value. Cookies are great though. Cookies are good. I just like,
Sorry.
You know what? I actually made my own cookies the other day.
Did you? Mm-hmm. Like home baked.
Home baked,
Ooh,
and I can honestly say, Cookie Box Co's are heavy. Not Co. Cookie Dealer. Or Cookie Champions now. Cookie Champions.
So they've changed it.
Yeah, they've changed it. Are heavy. They are full
dense.
Of sugar and they are dense. And sometimes I would like my stomach to digest. On the occasion though. So I actually prefer, you know, like the Ben's cookies, Millie's cookies.
I love Ben's cookies.
Oh, they're so good. We've got some at home.
Of course you have.
Ovs. Well, we did go to London.
Oh yeah,
so we
that.
bought
Wait,
like 20. We bought like 25 box. So it was like 15 box, and then we bought 7 the next day because we wanted like a bit of variety. And I made my own cookies because I just want to give it a go.
Yeah.
And I did it for Reese's mum for Valentine's Day, so I made some cookies.
Cute.
Mainly for me, ovs. But I made them and I was like, oh my god, these are such good everyday cookies.
Yeah.
Like, because I do eat cookies a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking a lot. So I thought I don't want to eat Cookie Champions cookies all the time. Like that's not going well for me.
Yeah.
So if I can actually portion control and actually like understand what I'm having, but also enjoy the cookie.
Yeah.
And I'm not making any like diet hacks with it. I'm just making it as is. Also, I actually prefer this as like an everyday cookie.
Yeah, and then you just have the other one as like a Saturday night treat.
Saturday night treat, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I made some, and I'm gonna make some more. So I'll have to bring some here next time. Oh my god, yes. Because honestly, I made chopped chip and milk chopped chip.
Please bring some cookies next time. We can make our little coffee and we can dunk our cookies. Maybe we can make that thing with the podcast and have a different cookie every time.
Oh, what? You want me to make cookies like every 2 weeks? You cheeky bastard.
So I love cookies.
Oh, they're just amazing. But yeah, so anyway, another tangent. What I was actually going to say, how many times does it take for us to go on a tangent for me to actually go on to what we're going to say, was the show season starting at the end of this month.
Yes, which is very exciting.
I know.
I'm excited to go watch some shows, are you?
You know what? Like, I just feel like people, like, that's when like bodybuilding comes together.
Yeah.
But right now I feel like everyone's in that limbo phase of like they're either like gonna start prep or are prepping or like, do you know what I mean? And everyone's in that limbo phase. And I feel like also in terms of like business for me as well, people are gonna see people competing this March. I've already got like 8 clients in that show.
Which is exciting. Which
is really, really cool.
Yeah.
But they're going to see people on stage and they're going to go, oh my god, I'm competing this year, fuck.
Yeah.
I need to.
Yeah.
And if any of you do that, no, I hate you, because you all seem to just like bombard on me after the first show.
Yeah.
Because everyone goes, oh my god, the show season started, and then they get stressed. In reality, it's like, guys, you are way behind because you should have started like a few months ago.
So basically, if you're competing this year and you haven't started posing, get your shit together.
But even so, like, do you not think people just literally like shit themselves, or like then they decide to compete, like because they've seen? I just feel like it kickstarts like the excitement. Do you know what I mean? Because I get excited about it.
Yeah,
like,
and also it's just so nice.
You get jealous as well.
Yeah, a little bit. But you know, you'll be the same. I feel like I know a lot of people in like bodybuilding, especially with like having done a lot of the PCA shows as well. And you know, like going to the expos and stuff, it's so nice because you just it's just really cool because you see a lot of people you know, you can chat to people. It's just like, I just really like being around the shows and the expos, so I'm really looking forward just to going to watch some shows and just like be around people again. Just like, because that's the only real time apart from the gym. But I'm not gonna lie, like there's a lot of people that I know who train in Derby that I genuinely just go, because otherwise you'd be in the gym all day. Yeah. And I don't want to chat to you right now. I'm busy. Yeah. Like, I just, because I know that when I chat. Yeah, and also like if you're midweek, you've got work to do, you've got meetings in, calls in, and it's like, I know in the gym I'm like, right, I've got an hour 20 to be in and out of this gym, or I've got an hour, and I'm like, if I start talking to someone for 10 minutes, it throws off like my... I'm rushing now, yeah. I'm the same, like, I think with Ultraflex Derby being quite like a popular gym at the moment as well, because you just have everyone from everywhere
everyone's like a hub, isn't it? Yeah. So it is like difficult because it's like you don't want to be like a dick because you actually know that person quite well.
Yeah.
But it's also like for me seeing you yesterday, it was like, right, couple mins, right, see you later, I'll see you tomorrow kind of thing. But like even that, it's like I promise you, like I'm not being rude, but I also just don't have the time to talk to you right now. Like I train here 5 times per week. Like we can just like pick at each other when needed.
Yeah, I know.
Like I don't need to stand and talk there all the time.
Yeah.
But no, like it's a good way because when you go to a bodybuilding show, you're there technically to socialise unless you have someone up there.
Yeah, which is really exciting. So I can't wait to go and watch some shows and just be around people. And I think I'm actually going to take a few of my clients, because I've got a few girls that are competing next year, that are like getting into it, and I want to go with them to shows so I can kind of explain what's going on and things like that, and also just to get them to go and be around more shows. So I'm really excited because next year, with the girls that are competing next year, I want to try and get them all together at some shows and like be able to spend a bit more time with them and watch some bits. So I'm quite looking forward to that as well.
I feel like people, like, if you haven't watched a show but you want to compete, like, that's so backwards.
Yeah, it does baffle me a bit, because I'm like, how do you know that you want to do that unless you've seen it?
Yeah.
Like, how do you know that that's...
Like, you've seen it on social media, but that's really not what's actually involved within it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, again, like, people just see, like, the highlights, because that's all we show. That's all, like, the federation show. They show the show day, and like people look great. Yeah,
and let's be honest, from the outside, bodybuilding looks very amazing.
Yeah,
like nice sparkly bikini, makeup,
tan,
stunning posing, pageant kind of vibes.
It is a pageant.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Bodybuilding shows are a pageant. You're displaying a look.
Yeah,
you are being judged based on your look. Bodybuilding in general, away from show day, is bodybuilding.
Is a sport. Yeah.
But you can't tell me that you are, like, for example, powerlifting, you're actually performing a lift.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
Like, I know people are going to go, it's not a pageant, like, it's a sport. I know, I get what you mean. I get your argument.
Yeah.
But actually, like, place it next to, like, Miss Universe pageants, like American pageants. Yeah. They are the same, we just have muscle and more naked.
More naked.
We are wearing less clothes.
Yeah, I get what you mean. The concept is very similar.
Oh, it's exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like, this is what I think. It's like, if you are wanting to compete, like, make sure you're actually doing the bodybuilding and
not just the pageant.
Yeah, literally, that's it, isn't it?
Like, don't just think it's a pageant. It's not. Like, bodybuilding, like, that's like the cherry on the cake.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you need the building blocks for bodybuilding.
Do the bodybuilding first, get the training good, get the day-to-day life sorted, grow the muscle, and then look at doing the display part, which is the competing part.
At the end of the day, like, you're not going to put a prototype on display in London, are you? Like, let's say, for example, you're like a kitchen appliance company. You aren't going to put, like, the shitty display model that you've just first thought of and, you know, not perfect it on display. No one will buy your stuff. No one will want to choose you. So why would you then... So you wait, you make sure that it's good, you make sure it works, you make sure it's going to be competitive within the market, and then...
I like that analogy.
Thank you.
That's good.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm high-fiving you, because you thought of it. But I like that.
But then, like, it's the same, because it's like, well, why would you put shit on your show?
Yeah, put the work in first.
Put the work in first, and then actually have something to show.
Yeah.
And also, I know I've mentioned this enough times, and I get a lot of people do bodybuilding shows because they have maybe become really large or whatever to then become really, really tiny, but not, like, bodybuilding conditioned.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, people like to do that as, like, as a goal, but also I really feel like there's a way of, like, respecting the sport and understanding there is a certain standard, and even though, let's say, for example, you've lost 40 kg, if you're still not at the standard, you need to go to federations that actually have categories that are like transformation ones.
Yeah, I get what you mean, 100%.
Because I feel like I'm seeing that more and more every year, where like I love seeing the fact that they've come on stage and they've lost 40 kilos, but I don't know that you've lost 40 kilos. I just think you've come on stage and you've pissed all over the sport.
Yeah, and I also think, we were touching on this before, but like, I think it's really easy to look at the stage part and be like, oh yeah, great, I want to do that, and like jump into it. Whereas actually, most people that do well have been training, have been bodybuilding without getting on stage for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like when I got into it, I'd been swimming competitively for years, I'd done S&C, I'd done weight training, you know, I'd built all that up in the background for like 3, 4, 5 years before I even got on stage.
Yeah. And also, for me, I was athletic as a kid. I like did running a lot, like I did loads of sports. I was weightlifting for 2 years before I even competed.
So you had a good amount of muscle before you even thought about getting on stage.
Yeah. But also like I came from an athletic background, so for me this was just kind of like a natural evolution. But then you get someone who's not being athletic at all, was maybe like book smart or just a geek or just someone who like didn't do sports, to then someone who does do sports. Yeah. You then go into bodybuilding straight away. It's like, well, you actually even need longer to like
to build that base.
Build the base. So just some considerations to kind of take before you actually, you know, with the show season starting, like think, are you actually ready? Like I've said to my own clients, like, we're gonna have to pull back. Like I know you want to compete this year, but I'm sorry, like we're just not there yet. We're not ready, and like that's okay. That's fine. But at the end of the day, like it's not just your reputation; it's also mine that I'm putting out there.
100%. And you want to have. We were literally just talking about this before, but you want to have a positive experience, because how you set yourself up going into a prep and the amount of muscle you have and how high you get your food and everything, like that's going to dictate how hard, most of the time, how hard you have to push in your prep and the end point of your prep as well.
Well, this is what I said to like one of my clients is like, this prep will not be easy because we haven't had a good start. Like you just said that you wanted to compete, but we haven't even like settled ourselves into training. But yeah, like I feel like so like I have this client and she wanted to compete like straight away. Yeah. But I said to her, I was like, we need to actually get nutrition in a good place, get training in a good place, because otherwise, when it comes to the prep and after the prep, you're probably going to have a really bad relationship with food. You're going to hate training because you've not fully understood what you're getting yourself into, and you just feel like it's a task rather than something that you're working towards. Because it is extreme. Like you need to 100%. Realise that this isn't just something that you can like wake up the next day and go, I'm gonna bodybuild, I'm gonna prep. It's not the case. You actually need to think hard about it and think, do I actually want to put my body through that? Because at the end of the day, like you are dieting to extreme conditions that is not actually where your body wants to be at.
And also if you haven't done the groundwork, you then put yourself in a risk, like in a bit of a dodgy situation by the end of the prep, where it's like you've had to diet yourself so hard to get into stage condition,
because you're only like, you're not even consuming a lot of food right now either,
and you probably haven't got the muscle that you need, and then it's like you having to do so much to get yourself in that position, and then but you haven't thought about what effect is that going to have post show. You know, when your food is super low, your food focus is really high,
you then hate yourself because you've eaten this, and then you do extra cardio, or you restrict and then binge. Like I, as a coach, am not willing to just put as many clients on stage.
No, and I'm the same, and it's like I've worked with clients now where we've spent 2-3 years like getting them ready to get on stage, because it's like you don't want to just get on stage and then that be the end goal. It's like, what are the 6-month post show going to look like? Like, have you got a plan for how you're going to manage post show and what that's going to look like for you? Because ultimately, if you have a really shit back end of your prep and then you're working for ages to get yourself back in a good spot, that could take you years to get yourself back in a good spot again if you're not doing it properly.
Exactly.
And that's the last thing. Like, I feel like bodybuilding has got a bit of a reputation for like ruining people's relationship with foods and stuff like that, but I think if you do it if you actually put the groundwork in and you have yourself set up for a better post-show, it can be managed pretty well.
That's also down to coaches not educating. That's also down to, I honestly blame coaches, because I honestly feel as though, like, if you're a good coach, you don't just think about the going on show and that client winning. Like, you think about their mental health, their personal health, like every single part. You're a coach at the end of the day. You're not just nutrition and training and cardio.
Yeah, exactly.
You are literally a life coach as well. Like, like, especially when it comes to bodybuilding. And I feel as though when it comes to that, a lot of coaches, because they're starting up or whatever, they want as many clients as they can on stage to show what they can do. When in reality, it's like, you need to think to yourself long and hard, is this client legitimately ready to, like, compete?
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with that.
And if you're going to lose the client and they find someone else who puts them on stage, you know that you've not put them in a position where after that they do have an eating disorder.
Yeah.
They do struggle with their... And that's just because coaches just are yes people, when in reality, I feel like you need to be, like, telling hard truths, because at the end of the day, yes, your client is paying you, but they're paying you to provide... Not, like, for example, like, your mum doesn't say yes to everything. So why should your coach?
Yeah, they should have your best interests at heart, not just getting you on that stage. Just looking at, well, are you in a position where you're going to have a positive prep experience as a whole and come out of that prep in a good position as well?
Like, it's, at the end of the day, like, prep is short term, but bodybuilding's long term.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's like, if you actually, like, consider your health and consider your mental health, and, like, even though, like, I've never had an eating disorder, when you diet to extremes, like, you, like, even someone who did have, like, a bodybuilding lifestyle, like, 2 years before I competed and prepped, I still really struggled.
Yeah, it's hard.
Alone, like, I still, like, struggled, like, even with that backing, and even being educated on post-show, like, I wasn't fully educated, but I knew about it. So it's like, it's just remembering, like, for any first-timers, that you can't just go into a show like that. You have to have that backing, and you have to actually build muscle. Bodybuilding, that's what it is. You also then have to be with a coach who will tell you when you're ready. Yeah,
100%.
And if you are also, like, someone who, like, you know if you've got muscle or not.
Yeah, and also, like, you might have to be okay. This is competitive and non-competitive. Like, to get to your goal that you want to be at, you might have to be okay with doing a few phases. Like, I think a lot of people think, oh, I'll just diet and then that'll be it. I'll have my, like, dream physique. Whereas actually, you might have to run a bit of a diet phase, and then you might have to spend a good few months building, and then you might have to pull back again and then build a bit more. And it's like, it's probably going to take a few cycles of going back and forward to get you, like, remotely close to where you want to be, especially if you're someone that doesn't have much muscle. And like, I think it's just, because you come in, don't you, and you think, oh, like, yeah, I'll just kind of crack on for, like, 8 weeks and brilliant, I'll be, like, pretty much there. And actually, when you strip it down, it takes a few, like, cycles and going back and forward to get you to where you want to be. And I think that's the thing, it's understanding that you're not just going to do X amount of time and that's going to be it, you never have to think about it again. Like, it's going to take a while for you to actually move in the direction you want.
Yeah, and I also feel like, as females specifically, like, I don't know, I feel like maybe because, like, for females we look at, like, a leaner physique being an ideal physique. I feel like, not so much in the men's categories, I feel like the men have been around bodybuilding enough and know the standard of men's bodybuilding enough to know that there's a set standard, but I feel like within the women's categories, I'm seeing it more and more and more with how popular it's getting, that, like, people aren't realising that it's a sport, and they're going into it, and then you hear, like, these horror stories of them then, like, coming out of the show.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's where it gets a bad rep from, because people haven't, maybe it's not for them, or they've, like, not done the work, and then it puts people in a really shit situation after.
Or if you've not started prep mentally in a good position, or financially, or whatever, and it's like, well, why did you start it anyway? And again, it leads back to the coaches. who let you think that you were ready?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
Honestly, who let you think you're going to do really well, No, put them in a diet, just not a bodybuilding diet.
Yeah.
Like, it's not hard. Do a photo shoot.
Yeah.
Crikey almighty.
Yeah.
Some coaches these days.
Because you can do the bodybuilding, right? You can, like, build muscle, look amazing, get strong, run a diet phase. Like, you can do all that, improve, like, your quality of life and your lifestyle without getting on stage.
Yeah.
You can just live it and enjoy your life and get really, really good progress. And then if you do that for a while and then you think, actually, yeah, you know what, I'm looking pretty decent now. And then if you want to do extremes, then maybe go into it. Or you might decide, actually, you know what, I quite like doing this without the last... Because let's be honest, like, the last few weeks of the prep is...
The prep.
The prep.
Yeah.
The prep.
Like, that's
the second part.
Yeah, that, like, at the end of the day, like, a prep's literally a diet. But then when it comes to, like, 6 to 4 weeks, that's when it's like, it sucks.
Yeah.
That's like the actual bodybuilding prep part, because that's when you're actually getting, that is if you're lean enough.
Yeah.
That is where it's like tough, and that's where you know you have a passion for bodybuilding or not, because you either get through it and you just enjoy it in a weird sadistic way.
In a weird
seductive way. Or you fucking hate it, and then that's where the bad relationship
I agree.
But yeah, any advice for anyone who's looking to compete, like, please just listen to that on repeat and just think to yourself, are you getting into bodybuilding for the right reasons? Because you have to be, otherwise, in terms of long term, you are going to just mess up so much of your life.
Yeah.
And that is why bodybuilding has a bad rep, because of coaches and people who just jump into it.
Yeah, and this is what I'm trying to do, like, within...
the event.
Yeah, within the event and, like, the community thing as well that's going live in April. It's, like, educating girls on how it actually works and doing it for the right reasons, so people can
What's to be expected.
Yeah, so people can do it properly and actually have a more positive experience within it.
Yeah.
Rather than it just being, like, something that is a massive thing that you don't really know that much about.
Yeah, you compete once, bodybuilding then spits you up, chews you out, and you never do it again. And then it takes you years for you to actually feel as though you're in a good position.
Yeah.
Like, it's... Again, like, the event will just help educate girls on, like, the reality of it.
Yes.
But also coming from, like, experienced athletes themselves as well. And we've all been through, like, the rough parts of bodybuilding and the positives of it. And sometimes I even think to myself, like, do I want to do it again? Like, do I actually even want to go through the prep again? Because it genuinely does drain me. It takes me a good amount of time for me to, like, think, I can do that again. Yeah. Like, even right now, I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's what I'm like at the minute. I'm like, the thought of any sort of...
diet.
Actually, the thought of any sort of diet, I'm like, no, I'm just not feeling that right now.
Yeah. And that is, like, a good thing to have.
Yeah.
But there's just so many emotions throughout bodybuilding. You go from not wanting to diet to then wanting to diet to then wanting to prep to then wanting to get strong, but then wanting to be lean the next day.
Yeah.
No.
Baby, shush.
But yeah, no, I think it's really exciting that the show season is starting. I'm excited to see the level of athletes this year, because I really feel like it'll put it into perspective on what is basically expected. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like it's just getting higher and higher each year, and I'm curious to see when it comes to 2025, when I'm sort of looking to compete. At just how and what route our bodybuilding federation's going down. I feel like they're getting leaner, they're getting more muscular by the year, and I just really, really hope that this year federations, specifically PCA, go for the look that they want rather than what they just have in front of them as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, every year since I competed, the toned figure girls have gotten bigger and leaner.
And more jacked.
And it's like, where is the difference between athletic and toned? They're like, it's so grey right now, I feel as though I really am excited to see who they go for in the toned category, because I don't want to be athletic. I liked my toned look. I want to be more muscular and a little bit more conditioned for when I do come on stage, obviously. But I liked the fact that it was like a softer, more dainty kind of look.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
And now they're like coming in jacked, and I'm like, but how are they being rewarded for that? Because I was up against this girl called Bex, and she was far more muscular than me, and I think a little bit more leaner, but they didn't reward that. But then you look at the following year, and it's like, they're just going for the more jacked person, the more conditioned person. It's like...
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, won't it?
Just to see if they've realised that they've done that, and that they actually need to like look back at their own kind of like book and like figure out what poster girl they want, because at the end of the day we will base our look off who they've like won. So if they choose someone more jacked, we're going to come in more jacked because we think that's what they want, when in reality it's probably not what they want.
Yeah, I think it's like what suits that person as well, because like one person might be able to, like, you really suited the look that you had, like, just looked really nice. Like, you just looked at you on stage and you're like, oh yeah, like, she looks great, like, she just looks good. But then you look at someone else who maybe had gone for maybe, I don't know,
the same condition.
Yeah, the same condition.
Same muscle, but
it might have actually looked like not great on them. So actually they might have had to get leaner to, like, do you know what I mean? It's just very
it is person dependent. But I also feel like they should, even if that person's going to be shit in athletic, because they are more toned, if they are still verging on athletic, I still feel like they should move them, because I feel like it's so on, like, for example, NPC, the vice president of NPC had to literally read out and explain the bikini criteria again, because girls were coming in too hard.
Right.
Because of who was being, who was being won, who was winning.
Right, yeah.
And then he had to almost just set like a reminder of like, this is what we're looking for, this is the standard, so please come in looking like this.
Just to make sure people weren't getting too lean as such.
And I feel as though like federations actually need to do like a reel or something, or like have like a genuine poster girl of like who they're looking for.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if we base it off the previous shows, it's hard, because it's like
there is a lot of variety.
There's just too much variety. And it's like, what do we bring?
Yeah.
Am I at toned figure one day and then athletic in another show? What is it you want? But I feel like that's not just PCA, that's like just generally across the board.
Yeah.
Board.
It's difficult. I do get what you mean with that, but I think it's difficult because everyone has such a different like shape and look that it's like, it's difficult, I think, to place it.
There's like what you want as a poster girl, and there should be a little bit of room for the left, and there should be a little bit of room for the right. But what there shouldn't be is like
a huge disparity.
A very minimal difference between this category and the next.
Yeah,
there should be a clear indication of what athletic is and what trained is versus what toned is. The same as like bikini. What should open bikini look like? There is a clear difference between open and trained.
Yeah, I get
and there needs to be the same clearance on figure.
Yeah, I think what's happened, across all federations with the toned and athletic kind of thing, and even the bikini, is that every year people are progressively getting leaner and more jacked because bodybuilding has like become more popular and stuff.
Yeah.
And then obviously everyone that competes is leaner and more jacked, then everyone thinks, oh my god, they're leaner and more jacked, then everyone gets leaner and more jacked. So it just like gets more like that every year.
But like PDFs, like in this day and age, like we can all interpret a PDF however we want.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what's going to be good about your event, is because you have Dan Welburn actually, like, am I allowed to say this?
He's doing some videos for the community.
Yeah, he's doing some videos for the community that actually explains what he wants.
Yeah, we've actually already got these videos recorded, so it was really fun recording this.
Exactly, and I bet you have a clearer understanding of now what you need to bring for your clients. But I read the descriptions and I'm like, but I can interpret that however I want. Like I can interpret a text of you saying, I'll be there in a minute, as I'll be there in a minute, or I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah. I get
so
what
it's
you mean,
like they almost need to have like on their every federation, listen up. Instead of giving us a PDF to which we can interpret however the hell we want as a coach and as a competitor, actually have like a golden child and actually explain what you want and why this person won. And then obviously that way we have something to actually look at,
go towards for the
category, rather than going for the photos that have been rewarded for that.
Yeah.
For that show, because yes, you do have to reward what you have in front of you.
Yeah.
But if you actually have a set standard, which I feel like no show has apart from NPC, that's where it's like...
I do get what you mean, yeah, because you kind of like... Obviously, you're trying to bring out the best in that person that's getting on stage and what's going to suit them best. But then there could be a huge difference in what one person's best looks like and another person's best look like, but they could be in the same category.
Yeah.
But they could look completely different.
Yeah. And it's like, what do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want?
So, like, you look at, for example, like even going back to you and Bex, right? Or even you and Shannon, right? Shannon did really well in toned figure. Shannon White.
Yeah, but she was definitely broad, like, again, she was definitely verging on athletic. If she came in like a smidge leaner...
That was like me when I did toned. Like, I could have probably done athletic if I was...
You just would have been a smaller gal.
Yeah.
Like, you probably should have just gotten leaner. You are the reason. You are the reason why I've just realised you are the problem. Because they've seen your doubts and gone, we need to look like that. And you are, and then she goes and fucks off to athletic because she knows she was athletic.
I wanted to do toned though.
I
wanted to get
This is why. You are the reason. I'm a hater.
I was like, I need to get this tone title before I go into athletic.
But do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people will have that, and now people have strived towards else.
Fucking hell, it's all coming
and it's
out
your problem. Like, you are the issue. Leah's the issue. But do you know, like, for example, she should have probably, like she should have probably, like, gotten a bit, she was, like, borderline. So it's difficult because it's, like, she didn't come in as lean to fit into toned. But then again, like, she didn't win against Mel because Mel was more toned.
But yeah, it's just, again, it's such
such
a difference between the shapes.
Yeah.
It's like...
She's more top heavy, I would say. Like, she's
like
more compact.
Shoulders.
Yeah, wicked. Like, I like her physique.
Yeah, amazing.
But what I didn't like was her in toned, because I could just see her potential was athletic.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because I looked at her and I was like, you are going to be such a fucking wicked athletic girl.
Yeah.
You just need to get that tiny smidge bit bigger.
That's what she's doing this year though.
Yeah, I know, she's prepping for it, isn't she?
Yeah, I can't wait.
But you know, and it's just like, you are so close to athletic that you are almost athletic. But then if it then goes your way, it's like, and then you move to athletic, it's like, but now you've been given the almost close to athletic, so now girls are going to come in almost athletic. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but I just feel like with toned there's such a big range of what you can be, and a lot of people do that. Like, I did that on purpose. A lot of people do that on purpose. They're like borderline, so they'll just hold back a bit and purposely not get quite as lean, so they can fit into toned.
But it's so frustrating for people who are actually toned, because it's like now you've set too high of a bar, and it's like unfair because we now have to then get leaner, when in reality, like for me as a genuine toned figure athlete, I don't want to get that jacked, because that's not what toned figure was like.
We've ruined it.
You and Shannon are the reason. You two, and Jade Whiteman, she's fucking jacked as well.
Looks sick.
All of you girls with these massive ass fucking doubts, go fuck yourselves.
It's all coming out now.
No, I love every single one of you. But do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I do, yeah.
I get your point of view.
It like pushes the boundary every time it happens.
Yeah, and it's like, well, where does it stop?
Yeah, that is very true.
Do you know what I mean? What's trained figure gonna look like in 5 years' time if we keep doing that? Like, I feel like if you're more than 50% toned.
That's why it was crying.
Oh, we'll get you there in a minute. We're almost finished. If you're like more than 50% athletic, you should just go for it. And yes, you're probably going to be
I do get what you mean.
Smaller one, but just grow into the show, grow into your category then.
Yeah,
simple as. I'm a hater.
I know, I can tell. God.
But I do love you all. I'm just jealous. I'm clearly just very jealous of your doubts because I have none.
But yeah,
no. They are soft. They're like bouncing off. But like, I feel like it is hard as a judge anyway to like.
Yeah, I agree.
To manage it, but I do feel like there needs to be like a poster girl of right.
It would make coaching a lot easier as well.
This is what I mean. What the hell do I bring this girl in for?
Yeah, I do.
How the hell do I even?
Are they going to go for someone a bit softer? Are they going to go for someone a bit leaner? So you like have to just think, right, okay, as long as we make you look your best, that's all we can do. Get you on, and I think that's why as well it's so important not to get too het up by the results, because it's like you could be looking your absolute best, but you could place not as well. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, depending on what they go for on that day. Exactly. So it's like, all you can do is bring your best as a client or a coach.
It's
and
so
then
subjective.
See what happens.
Yeah. It's so subjective. Like, it is hard. But I feel like we would all go in the direction better if there was something that we could actually compare to and aim for.
I get you.
But yeah, that was my little bitch about Leah.
Thanks. That was fun.
That was a really good realisation from me, though.
I know.
Like you were hoping that I wouldn't realise that you were the issue.
I didn't actually realise until you said it.
But you won at the end of the day, so that's all that matters.
It's quite cool that we both won in the same show, isn't it?
I know. Like, we literally were like, you were on, then I was on.
And we didn't really know each other that well at that point, did we?
We got a selfie.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we got a selfie, and it was like, that was it, and then I don't think we spoke together for like 6 months after that. But here we are now, making a podcast.
I know.
But I feel like we should finish there.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have any questions about the podcast, let us know. We are filming our next one literally in a moment.
I'm excited for this one.
And this one is funniest or / worst prep moments. And we have quite a few on there, but I'm also excited to talk about our own ones. I don't particularly have any in mind right now.
I don't. I'm going to have a think.
We're going to deep dive into that. So stay tuned for next week and you will be able to hear what dumb shit people get up to or what things or the worst things that probably aren't that bad but feel bad at the time happen whilst in prep. But anyway, please like,
subscribe, share.
Bye.
Bye.